Hello, it's Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to be creating a journal spread in my standard size Traveller's Notebook insert, which I keep inside this vintage-like cover from Start Bay Notebooks. With my creative journaling spreads, I've been swapping between this journal and also my A5 dotted journal from London Gifties. And that's just kind of depended on how much space I've wanted to use and what kind of mediums I want to use on the paper. And on this spread today, I knew that I wanted to use a little bit of collage, lots of watercolour, and I thought that this journal would work perfectly for that. So I'm starting off by using an old book page, and I'm tearing that up and I'm going to glue it right along the centre of my pages. And as always, I'm just tearing all of those edges because I really like that kind of rough effect. To glue it down, I'm using Pritt Stick. I really like using different papers as a background for watercolour. I like how it looks when some of the paint is on the paper and some of it's on the journal page. It can give a really interesting effect. And for the designs that I'm going to be adding on this journal spread, I'm going to be sketching out some houses, and I'm going to be using the designs that are included in my book. And I'm going to pick 3 different houses from here. I'm starting off by very lightly sketching out the outlines of the houses in pencil. And then I will use some Sakura Micron pens to ink in all of the details. And the Pigma Microns are waterproof, which is perfect because I know that I'll be adding lots of watercolour over the top. I decided to go with the houses theme because we're just starting another month of lockdown, which got me thinking about being at home and how I best want to cope with it this time. I know already that I'm finding it a little bit harder because last time I had my daughter safely at home, and this time she's still away at university and in fact has gone straight from self-isolation into lockdown. So I guess that's just given me an extra layer of worry. So I wanted to think about how I can best use this time, what kind of things make me happy and distract my mind. So I'm going to be using these journal pages to document all of my thoughts about that. So it seemed perfect to have some house sketches and paintings on my journal pages. If you use book pages as a background, you can find that some of the details disappear a little bit when you've just got the ink on the page. But as soon as you start adding the colour, all of those details pop right out again, which I absolutely love. I'm going to be using these handcrafted watercolour paints from London Gifties. And as always, I will leave links to the products and the shops that I mention in the description box down below, just in case there is anything that you're looking for. I've got my paint swatch sheet out on the left-hand side, which really helps me when I'm looking for colours. And I'm starting off by mixing a really lovely pale pink for my first building. Because I thought, despite the fact that we're at home and the houses around me don't look like this, I wanted to use my imagination and create something that looked quite bright and cheerful on my journal pages. I find that when I'm journaling, sketching, doodling or painting, it really helps me to switch off from the world for a while And I'm so grateful to have that resource in my life because I can really lose myself easily for a couple of hours. The paintbrush that I'm using is an Escoda brush, and I'm doing the two opposite houses first of all, just to try and make sure that the paint dries before I start tackling other areas to ensure that they don't all run into each other. We do have some seaside towns near us where all of the different houses are painted in loads of beautiful colours, and they always make me so happy to see. So I definitely think that inspired some of the colour choices that I've used in my paint. I will be painting a night sky around the houses, so I thought it'd be nice to show the lights on indoors, which represents the fact that everybody here is now staying safe and staying at home. My journal pages are often inspired by nature. So I found it really fun to do something completely different as the main design kind of elements on these pages. I made sure that the paint on the houses was completely dry, and now I'm adding that blue wash for the sky. And I will add a few different layers just to try and deepen it and make that sky a little bit darker. And I'm making sure that the paint goes both on the book page and onto the journal paper behind. And I really like how you get that variation in how the paint looks. Once the painting is all finished, I'm going to add a quote on my page. I'm using a dip pen and some black Pilot Iroshizuku ink. I hope I've said that right. And both of these came from Colt Pens. And I'm going to letter out some advice to myself really, which is take some time to dream, to create, and also to calm your mind. I write really slowly with a dip pen and I have to be very careful not to get ink splotches everywhere. But that's perfect for me at the moment. Anything that requires me to slow down and really concentrate on what I'm doing helps to keep me calm. The nib I'm using is a Nico G. And I did have somebody message me a month or so ago saying that they were having trouble with their new nib, with the ink kind of just sliding off it. If you get a new nib, they often still have a kind of oily coating on them from when they've been manufactured. And I've seen a few different tips. I usually run my nib very quickly through a flame on a candle, which just burns it off. I believe you can also insert the nib into a potato or use toothpaste, and that just helps to take away that oily coating so that the ink will stay on the nib a little bit better. Now that the painting and the quote is finished, I'm going to add some extra decorative elements. I'm going to use this Moon and Stars stamp from London Gifties and some black stays on ink. And I thought that would be nice to tie in with a kind of night sky theme. Next, I'm going to add two different strips of washi tape, again both from London Gifties. I'm going to use the dark coloured tape to represent the night, and then use a brighter coloured strip on top to tie in with the coloured houses. If you do decide to order anything from London Gifties, don't forget, if you use the code Helen, then you get a free roll of washi tape included in your order. Now that all of the decorative elements are added, I'm going to move on to my journal writing. And this is all about the things I plan to do to keep busy over the next month. The things that I'm really enjoying doing at the moment are taking lots of online classes, learning new skills. I'm also in the middle of preparing my Patreon bundles for next month, and I'm aiming to do a big mega bundle, which I'm really looking forward to. I also had some questions on Patreon about the sorts of things I write about in my journal, so I've just come up with some journal prompts to share there. So I'm really enjoying anything which is kind of stretching my mind and enabling me to be creative. And I like planning all of those things out in my journal and then writing about what I've been able to do and the new skills that I've learnt and interactions that I'm having with other people. One of the things that's definitely helped me the most has been that learning experience. I find that if I'm taking a class, practicing new things, I just get so engrossed, I lose myself for quite a long period of time, and that's just been so helpful to me, and then gives me new things that I want to try out in my journals. Well, I really hope that you're doing okay, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, it would be great if you'd leave it with a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you'd consider subscribing. If you do have any questions or comments, as always, please do leave them down below, and I will try and reply to each of the comments on the videos. I also want to say a massive thank you to everybody that's supporting me over on Patreon. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you really soon in the next one.